Hey everybody, what's going on? Hope you guys are doing good. I'm doing just great. So I am going to do a little bit of an unboxing here. This is not a typical guitar unboxing or guitar related unboxing. This is something else that I've been working on and getting bits and pieces here together, and eventually I'll show what the progress is and what I've been doing. But let's get a little bit into it and see what's going on here. So first box here, round disc. It's got some weight to it. This is a acrylic platter, and if you kind of know where I'm going with this, yep, we're going back into the analog. So this is a very heavy, it's got some weight to it. It's got a sleeve in the middle of it. Looks like it's a brass sleeve with a brass nut on there. The top of it and the bottom of it have a matte finish. Now this is etched into the acrylic. This is not a sprayer of any sort. And then the edges of it are actually shiny. They've been polished down, so it doesn't have the same matte finish that the top and the bottom have. So this is the bottom. It's got a little bit of an indentation over here. Now I'm not sure if this is going to be the top or if that's the bottom or not. Sometimes with records and stuff, because of the label, it makes the record kind of stick up a little bit, and I'm wondering if that's what this is for here. The bearing, or what's in the center, is flush, and so is this one on this side. This is actually countersunk. So let's get into the other box and see what's going on. Alright, so this is the Fluance, and this is the RT83 turntable, which has a couple of features to it that I kind of like. And let's get this thing unboxed and out of here. I've had it sitting around for quite a while, and really just been busy doing other things, working on that Gibson, which I'm very happy with the outcome of that Gibson. And if you're just now kind of like watching some of my videos, I'm talking about the Gibson Standard with the HP high performance circuit inside of it, and that would be the Dash 4, which was having a lot of issues as far as, well, grounding issues. And I'm really shocked and surprised that Gibson let that go out of the factory, packed into a box or a case, and then into a box, and shipped out to the dealers with that issue. And they're supposed to be tested, right? And you would think for that kind of money that you're paying for that style of a Gibson guitar, well, you think quality and shit like that would be kind of a good option to have. Alright, so this is nicely packed. It is like in styrofoam, cardboard, and a nice wrap on everything to protect it. So go ahead and remove this. Here is the, which I'm not going to use this, but it does have some qualities to it. This is the rubber mat that comes with this, and I think what I'm going to do is end up getting something else, and we are stuck to a piece of cardboard here, probably just to keep this flat. Now, I don't care for rubber mats on turntables. I rather have the felt. Let me put this off to the side and get rid of this. First thing on top, which is kind of nice, other than the rubber mat, is the dust cover. And these dust covers are, a lot of them are pretty flimsy on some turntables, and they'll end up cracking and getting damaged real easily. So to make sure that this one here doesn't have any of those issues, and it looks like it's in pretty nice shape. It doesn't look like there's any damage or anything to it. If there was, it definitely would be going back to the dealer that I purchased it from. No markings on top of it, and there's nothing. It's not a clear dust cover. This is a little bit of a smoked. And the nice thing about this dust cover here is it does have the rubber feet that make contact with the body of the turntable. Now on the project, I end up putting some little rubber pads on the body of the turntable in order for the lid to close down onto and not make or scratch or make any noises as far as closing it as you start playing an album. So let's get into the box over here. Alright, so they got some stuff scattered around over here. First off, you have your manual. It gives you a pair of gloves for putting your albums on your, well, see, knowing how to hold a record is one thing without getting fingerprints and the oils or dirt from your hands all over the grooves that are on the top and the bottom of your album. So you kind of want to hold it, you know, on the sides like this. But it comes with some gloves, so you can kind of do so without having any problems with messing up or dirtying up your records. All right, so first things first here, we got a tone arm side of here. Looks like there is a zip tie or something that's around the tone arm, locking it in place. So pull this out, and this is just a taco-shaped piece of cardboard.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
So right here you have your cables, your feet, well, not the feet, but your 45, a couple of different ones, 45. Pull the rest of this out. All right, so you got your hinges, and these are actually a lot nicer. They are a clip-on, and they don't have a spring inside of them, but they are spring loaded right in this box right here. So if you kind of look inside there, there is a it's plastic on plastic, but as you turn it, you can kind of feel that, and the weight of the dust cover will keep this thing from flipping open. You have a very, very tiny, very small bubble level, and what this is going to do is you place it on top of your turntable and you kind of level it out, because this does have adjustable feet on it, which is quite nice, because if you're going to go through all the work of setting up a tone arm properly, you want to make sure that your whole unit is level. That way it's not pushing or fighting against the anti-skate adjustment that is on the side of your tone arm and causing an issue where, well, now you can't get it to skate right. Put this off to the side as well. Here's the second hinge. Alright, so you have a basic power adapter here, wall wart, what you want to call. So it's converting the voltage from AC, and let's see here, it's converting it from input. Let me see if I can read this, because it's kind of fine. Alright, so you got a input of 100 to 240 volts, 50 to 60 hertz at 0.2 amps. Output is 12 volts, and you got a 0.5 amp and at 6.0 watts max. So that's what you're looking at as far as your voltages go with the Fluance. Now this does not have a removable tip on there to change it for, you know, different countries, different styles. I'm sure if you are living in Europe or something and you have the different wall outlets, I'm sure this thing, if you bought it from a dealer in that location, you probably would get the appropriate adapter for your power. Now this comes with some really nice RCA cables. They're not crappy, cheap, however you want to call them, at all. They're actually pretty nice, heavy duty, something that I would actually use. Gold plated plugs on it, and I believe this is like a 6-footer, so it's got some good length to it wherever you're going to place your turntable. Some people put their turntable on top of their receiver. Some people will have it next to it, or there'll be a shelving unit in my case where this is going to be on the top, and then all the other components will be on the shelves. So yeah, that's nice. And then you also get a ground, which is also great. A lot of times you would get the combination where the ground and the RCAs are combined into one cable. In this case here, it's separate. Not bad. Doesn't really need to be heavy duty. Alright, let's move these guys out of the way. Now, these are both 45 adapters. One is different than the other, I believe. Oh no, this is, I believe this one here is for the, the bubble. I believe that's what that one's for. Alright, so let's get back into here. Get rid of some of this crap. And just put a new garbage bag inside here, so let's fill the damn thing up, right? Alright, so, let me get in over here. Anything on this side? Nope. Alright, so in this bag here, we have your weight for your counterbalance. And it should have some markings on it. Yep, it does. And that should turn while the weight stays stable. That turns. And it's got some weight to it. It's not a wimpy little counterweight. And here is the cartridge with the head shell. And it kind of looks like that. This might have been set up already at the factory. I want to make sure that the color codes here are correct. Yep, they are. On the back of the cartridge, this is a 2M Otophon. And on the back of the cartridge, it's color coded for what wires go where, and basically makes it idiot proof. You just match up the colors and you're good to go. So I just want to make sure that these colors are matched. And then at the head shell itself, they're reversed depending on where the wires are soldered in at the end of the plug over here. This does have a rubber gasket on it, which is kind of nice because when it goes in and you screw it down, it'll keep a nice fit without vibrating loose. And then you got your stylus cover as well. So I'm going to put this on the side, and if I look at the cartridge compared to the sides of the head shell, it's pretty damn even. It is not off, the cartridge is not off to an angle on the head shell, so that's kind of nice. To me, that kind of looks like it's been set up already. You know? Now this has got some weight to it. Let me get this get off the counter and out of the box. Alright, so in this box here we have the platter, and I can already feel a big difference between the platter that is acrylic and the platter that is inside here, and I bet you this one here is going to be aluminum. Oh yeah, it's aluminum with, and it is also a by looking at the holes over here on each side, this is also a universal platter, so it can either be a outside belt or an inside belt, whichever one it would be for as far as that turntable goes. Like this one here is an outside motor, the inside motor is kind of like the project. And to be honest with you, I really don't see too much of a difference between the outside motor and inside motor, exception of seeing the belt, seeing the motor. That's about it. But this is universal and aluminum, which I will not be using this, but the one thing that I do need off of this, which I can feel around the edges, is this belt. This I'm going to need. Very long belt here. And it doesn't look like that this comes with another belt. So if you want to see what this looks like, that's what it is at the top. Looks like it's been powder coated. Just kind of like a stamped piece of aluminum. And again, these extra holes here are not for like weight purposes, these holes here, because this one here and this one here are right up against this second ledge, and this second ledge here has been polished a little bit, so that's telling me that this is universal. You can have an inner or an outer belt. Alright, now time for the actual unit itself to come out of its bag and make a debut. I have no room in here. This room has been, it's a clusterfuck inside here compared to what it usually is, and I have been working on all kinds of stuff, doing all kinds of things, trying to set things up and get things in order, and it's just turning into where I'm just having fun, but also having issues with space. Once I get done doing what I've been doing and stuff, I'll be able to clean up, get rid of everything, and move on to bigger and better things. Okay, so it's pretty well wet wrapped. I'm going to save some of these bags because I'm going to be putting up the project online. Remember, this is not spice packs. There's no salt inside here. You don't eat these. Those are just for moisture. And if you notice that the lettering on it was blue, if it's absorbed moisture, the color changes on those. Alright, so here is the unit itself. Pretty nicely wrapped. Pretty damn heavy. Again, I want to save all of these pieces of cloth and everything else. Oh, nice. Look at that. Okay, so this you do not change. This you do not change the speed by changing the pulley or changing the belt on the pulley. This one has a switch on it. 45, 33. Nice bearing in the middle over here. Feels pretty good. Doesn't feel too bad at all. Now, like I said, this is the one thing I don't like about a lot of these turntables, is they don't give you tone arm locks. Not like they used to. Okay, this does. Alright, that's nice. That's good to see. Now, this is an S-shaped tone arm. You have a straight, you have a J, and then you have an S. The J will just come down straight and then hook a little bit. The S has a where it comes out and then kind of goes this way and then kind of goes just like an S would. So let me remove this here. Now, first thing I want to see is oh, beautiful. The bearings have been adjusted really nice on these. There is no play in the bearing whatsoever. Alright, so now I can lock this back into place. You have a riser to raise your tone arm up and down. Adjustable anti-skate right here, and then this is where your weight would go. Motor rubber mounted, which is very nice. The bottom of this thing, again, this is pretty heavy. This is a solid piece of wood, and it's got a wrap around it. So the bottom of this is pretty basic. There's really nothing here. You have adjustable feet here that turn, and you're able to adjust the height if you want a little bit higher, or if just to get it to balance itself out when you put the bubble weight on, or the bubble gauge on there. But yeah, this is solid. Alright, so first things first is I want to get the platter on here, and before I start getting a bunch of fingerprints and everything else on it. So here's the platter. Now, I don't know. I would believe that, let's see. I have to see which way it goes because the, alright, so it doesn't go that way, it goes this way. I was right. Beautiful. So I was right. The way this is cut over here, where it has the indentation where the label is on your record, that's the side it goes down. The spindle here is pitched on an angle a little bit, so this will only go in one way. bearing is quiet and seems to move very, very freely. Let's get the belt on here. Now that's kind of nice with this being a switch, instead of having to play with the belt, because you don't have to touch the belt, making the belt last a lot longer. Get my finger over here in the middle, wrap this around over here, put it over that, and just turn it and watch it shoot. Excuse me. So back to the drawing board with this. Some people like direct drive turntables. Some people like a belt-driven turntable. To me, it doesn't matter either way. Some people will say you get more whoa and flutter off of a belt-driven than you do a direct drive. All right, so the belt rides perfectly center on the spindle, and this is a adjustable spindle over here to where you can raise it up and down. But where it's at right now, it's riding perfect on the platter. Don't have no issues on it. So you have a switch here on off. That's it. I don't think there's any LEDs on it. Let's go ahead and put the slides in really tight. That's nice. All right, so there's two different rings here. One I say would be the 45, definitely, but this one here I got a feeling might be for something else. So if I put this on here, oh, never mind, I know what this is for. I know what this is for. It's a cover for the motor to hide the motor of it. So you have a spot right there, push it down, it's keyed, and that gives the motor. All right, never mind, I figured it out, and I didn't need no stinking manual to do it. So the bad thing that I don't like about these turntables is they don't give you a spot for the 45 adapter, and that kind of sucks, because where the hell am I going to put it? I don't like leaving it just free floating. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and mount the cartridge to it. And I want to remove the stylus and all. Remove the stylus. Kind of give it a nice little inspection, make sure it's not bent or anything in any way. I'm going to put the protective cover back on it. Kind of has a little tab on there to lock it. Now one thing I want to do is check to see if this thing is properly set up as far as the cartridge aligning goes, and I'll go ahead and put this in the spot where it's supposed to. Oh, it just fell right in. Oh yeah. Then go and check the second position. Again, it just fell right in. Now I want to take and kind of tighten those screws just a little bit, just to make sure they're tight and they're not going to end up kind of loosening up on me. Okay, they got a nice, that one was a little bit loose, but not too bad. Lock this back down, pick this back up. Alright, so my downforce gauge. The only time when I'm going to level this thing out is when I put it in position where it's going to live for the rest of its life. Right now, down here, I'm not going to adjust the feet on this because it's not going to be living down here. This will be living upstairs. Alright, so come on, get in there. There we go. Now we're in place. So I'll go ahead and get my, now leveling this thing out using the anti-skate and leveling, tone arm leveling is kind of obsolete with this because I'm using a downforce gauge. So I don't need to balance this out to 0. What I need to do is just put it at 1.8. So put this over here, power it up, let it cycle, let the little logo come on over there. When there's a little dot that comes up over there, that means it's ready for putting things on it. Now this is at CT. I want it at grams. There we go. 5 grams. That's where I'm looking for. That's where it's supposed to be. So that's calibrated. And then go ahead and put my tone arm on there and see where I'm at. Oh, I need the stylus for this. I need the stylus to do this. Make sure this is in place. Take the cover off of it. Make sure that's in the right position. And go ahead and see what my downforce is. I don't have a downforce. So I'm looking at 21 right now. 48. That's 0.48. Getting closer. 1.16. That's a little bit too much. 1.10. Getting closer. 1.7. 1.7. 1.10. 1.5. All right, step away from it. Stops at 1.8. So the anti-skate, let's see here, where is the gauge for it? That's right there. I want that to be at a 1.8. And that's about right there. So that's where the anti-skate's going. Shut this off and put this away. Alright, so for right now, this is pretty much it. What I need to do is get this upstairs where it's going to be living, and that's where it's going to stay. Put my cover on my protected stylus. And put my dust cover on. Now a dust cover just slides into position, so I'm going to go ahead and flip these forward. If they'll stay, they probably won't stay. So I'll move this out a little bit so I can go ahead and put the dust cover on. It's got 2 little notches where the dust cover lines up into the groove. If I can steady my hand a little bit to get it there. The edges are supposed to be a little bit rounded off in order for this to go in there, but I'm not getting it there. There we go. That's one. Come on, you slide in. Alright, so before I do anything here, let me slide this one in all the way. That's much better. Now this should kind of pull themselves where they need to be from side to side. Move this back. Oh, that fits really nice. There's a little bit of a lip around the edges over here, and the cover doesn't slam down on top of it. It kind of sits pretty good. So I have to go through my turntable stuff and see what do I have for a dust cover. I don't like the rubber ones. I'd rather have a felt dust mat or anti-static mat. And that's it. So on the back of this thing, there is a switch for the auto stop to be turned on and off. So you can have an auto stop turned on or turned off on this thing. You have your audio out, your ground, and your power. There is no Bluetooth on this, and there is no preamp on this. So if you're looking for a turntable, make sure, and you do not have a phono preamp on your receiver, especially a lot of the new surround sound receivers and even a few of the older ones, they don't come with anything as far as a input for phono. So you're going to have to get something that's got a preamp or an external preamp. All right, so I'm done with this, and you guys take it easy. I'll be looking for a next video as far as the plug-in and play and the new setup. All right, you guys take it easy. Have a good one.